Boom, this one could get ugly fast because Sheree may be getting ready to flip the whole custody battle on its head. And if that happens, Steve could be the one left scrambling while a huge secret in this legal drama gets brought to light. Right now, the situation looks tense, messy, and honestly, a little explosive. Steve may be pushing hard in court over Brooklyn, but Sheree could be preparing her own counterattack. And if you ask me, this might not just be about one argument or one bad text message. This could be about a much bigger plan that has been building behind the scenes for a while. Here is the quick version. Steve has been accusing Sheree of making things harder between him and Brooklyn. He may believe she is blocking time, creating tension, and making it difficult for him to stay close to his daughter. But Sheree could see it completely differently. She might feel like she has been the one trying to keep things stable, while Steve keeps turning every disagreement into a legal battle. And guys, that is where things get really interesting. Because if Sheree really does decide to bring in a serious lawyer team, this whole thing could shift in a major way. I mean, imagine that for a second. One minute Steve thinks he is fighting to protect his role as a father, and the next minute Sheree may be going after complete control of the situation. Not just more time, not just better communication. I am talking about a full move to seek total custody of Brooklyn. Now, that would be a shock. And let me tell you something, I would not rule it out. If the tension keeps climbing, Sheree could decide that enough is enough. She might believe that the only way to stop the chaos is to take the battle all the way. That means lawyers, court filings, arguments over schedules, and maybe even some very uncomfortable claims about what is really best for Brooklyn. But here is the part that makes this story even more dramatic. If Sheree makes that move, she could argue that Brooklyn should stay where life feels more settled. She may say that moving back and forth, dealing with conflict, and living under constant pressure is not good for a child. And if she can make that case, then Steve could find himself in serious trouble. I keep thinking, what if this was always the direction? What if the tension was not just random family drama, but the first step in a bigger custody strategy? That is exactly the kind of thing soap fans love, because behind every heated exchange, there is always the possibility of a deeper secret. And Steve may not even realize how dangerous that is until it is too late. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of this, because that matters too. Steve could feel like he is fighting for his daughter, not against his daughter. But Sheree may be framing the story very differently. She might believe she is protecting Brooklyn from conflict, confusion, and the kind of pressure that can come from adults going back and forth in public and in court. That difference in perspective is huge. Because in these situations, the court may not just look at who is louder or who is angrier. They may look at consistency, stability, and what seems to create the safest environment for Brooklyn. And that is where Steve could run into a problem. If the judge starts thinking that the current arrangement is causing more stress than peace, then Sheree could gain the upper hand. But, and this is important, that does not mean Steve is automatically finished. Not at all. He could still fight back hard. He may argue that he has every right to be involved, that he wants to be present, and that the accusations against him are unfair. So this could turn into a long, bitter battle where both sides are trying to prove they're the one acting in Brooklyn's best interest. Still, I have to say it, Sheree may have a stronger angle than people expect. Because if she can paint Steve as someone who is making the conflict worse or who is not fully cooperating, then his position could weaken fast. And once that starts happening, the whole case could get exposed in a way nobody saw coming. That is the kind of twist that makes this drama feel like it is building toward a major reveal. And then there is Michelle. Oh, yes, Michelle could become a very big part of this too. If Sheree is unhappy with Michelle being involved in Brooklyn's daily life, that could add another layer of tension. Maybe Sheree does not want Michelle crossing certain lines. Maybe she does not trust the new family setup. Or maybe she feels like the blended family arrangement is being pushed on Brooklyn before everyone is ready. Whatever the reason, that could be another flashpoint in the court fight. And if that becomes a major issue, then Steve may be forced to defend not just his parenting, but the whole structure of his new life. That is a lot to carry, especially when the other side may be preparing a very aggressive legal response. But here is where it gets really juicy. What if Sheree's next move is not just about custody, but about control of the narrative? What if she wants to show that she is the stable parent, the calm parent, the one who is not stirring up drama? If that is the case, then the betrayal angle could land hard against Steve. Suddenly, the story is no longer just father versus mother, it becomes who is actually telling the truth. And that, my friends, is where the secret could come crashing out. Because once both sides start bringing lawyers, documents, messages, and old conflicts into the spotlight, something hidden could get revealed. Maybe it is a communication issue. Maybe it is a disagreement over where Brooklyn should spend most of her time. Or maybe there is another piece of the puzzle that has not fully come out yet. I am not saying it is certain. I am saying it could happen, and if it does, it would change everything. I also think Steve could be underestimating how much this might backfire. He may believe he is making a strong stand. He may think he is showing determination. But court battles are tricky. Sometimes the person who thinks they are in control is the first one to get blindsided. And if Sheree comes in with a sharper legal strategy, Steve could end up losing ground fast. That would be a major twist. Because honestly, not everybody sees that coming. At first glance, it might look like a standard custody dispute, but I think there is more going on under the surface. There could be resentment, there could be hurt feelings, there could be a plan forming on both sides. And when family conflict gets that deep, things rarely stay simple for long. So now the big question is this: is Cherie really preparing to go all the way for full custody of Brooklyn? And if she is, could Steve actually fail in this fight? I would not count that possibility out. In fact, that may be exactly why this story feels so tense right now. Because the next move could come out of nowhere. One filing, one hearing, one accusation, and suddenly the entire balance could shift. That is how these soap style, real life legal dramas work. Quiet tension first, then shock. Then the truth starts leaking out piece by piece. And if that truth comes out, Steve may not like what he hears. So keep your eyes on this one, because this custody battle could be headed toward a brutal reveal. Cherie might be gearing up for a much bigger fight than anyone expected, and Steve could be walking straight into a legal trap he never fully saw coming. But what do you think, guys? Is this all just another heated dispute, or could Cherie really be plotting a full custody move behind the scenes? Because if that is the case, the next twist could be the one that blows everything wide open.